How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely night. It is time to do some animation, time to talk about the creative process, get into some imagination and some inspiration. So for tonight, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to look at for our inspiration for today. And so I was like, well, let me leaf through a couple of my favorite blogs that I like to go to. And then I was like, well, I haven't talked about Andreas Deja, and how has that happened? Because he is one of my favorite animation bloggers and definitely a hugely, amazingly strong animator. If you're not familiar with him, he did Aladdin, which I grabbed this little pencil test that I found on YouTube just in case you weren't familiar with his work. I mean, look at that. Beautiful animation. He did Jafar from the movie Aladdin, and he also did Scar and just a ton of stuff. But besides him just being a really strong animator, I think he's a really great advocate for animation, and really, basically, I would say if there was a new Nine Old Men, he would definitely be in that category. He's really bridged the gap, I feel, between like the really perfecters of the art form to where we're at today. I feel like he's one of those key characters in between, like Richard Williams is probably closer to the Nine Old Men, but he's probably in there along with Tim Burton in a different way. And anyways, but he's just great. Couple of little tips that I found from some talks that he did, which I'll link in the comments below, of a little interview kind of masterclass thing that he did. And his couple tips for when animating were to find a hook for your character, like find something special about them that you can always kind of rely on, like if they have a bad hip or something, that's something they could walk with, or they always fidget with their fingers or their hands while they talk like somebody, or if they have kind of a lisp or something that can make them a little bit more special. I was reading something about this character Jafar, and in the thing that I read, it was Andreas Deja was a little intimidated, I guess, by the bombastic and the over-the-top acting of the genie, which was done by Eric Goldberg. So he wanted to, in contrast, make Jafar a little more subtle and a little more restrained, so that would play off nicely, and also he could really get into more of the subtleties and really the thinking behind the character rather than just the over-the-top amazing animation that Eric Goldberg did, and it's definitely a different take to it. And then his other tip was to observe and then plus reality. And so a lot of that was from a part where he was talking about how he used to watch a lot of like National Geographic and like real life video, especially when he was doing Scar animation, and then take what he could see but add a little bit more to it, just to give it that extra layer of life behind it. And then I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of kind of his blog, which I'll link again in the information below, because I think especially when you're just starting out, I know I used to read this thing like religiously all the time when I was first starting out. Unfortunately, it's just been a lot busier lately, so I don't get as much time to read it, but it's still top notch. This was a posting from just a few days ago, but I mean, he just has really insightful thoughts. He brings really good points out. He always kind of pulls it back to a lot of the great masters of animation, like this milk call drawing, like this amazing hand shape, the expression plus the anatomy behind it. It's just some really great stuff. I mean, look at the kind of line of actions that you have in these dwarves that they're all pulling in and leading up. That's a great kind of silhouette with 5 characters all enhancing that. I mean, even the like beards are angled so that your eye is going to want to go right up to that nose that they're all doing. But yeah, I love that character. Okay, sorry, I could get lost in just staring at these myself. But anyways, all that stuff I will link in the information below. If you're not familiar with him and you're into animation, or you're into art, or you're into illustration or creativity in general, I think he's a great one of my favorites on the internet who has a presence, and is still doing stuff as well. But I think he's just phenomenal in the way that he approaches things. It seems like there's a real spirit and a real kindness and a real just going out of his way to teach and inspire, that I don't really see from as many people as I don't know anybody that has that same sort of niche that he fits there. So anyways, let's get into some animation for today. If you're new to the series, what we do is today's rig comes from Sony Pictures Animation, which you can see right over there. There you go. Got to figure out which way I'm pointing so that it goes up there. I'll link this down below. This is a zombie rig from the Hotel Transylvania movie. It's a free rig, so anyone can grab it. There are, there's a couple of things you got to click through and everything on there, but I'll link that down below as well. And this is going to be Maya 2014. So for this series, if you're not familiar with it, what we do is give ourselves anywhere from about 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the rig, depending on what problems we come into or what creativity we come up with. Give ourselves 48 frames and see what we can do with it, and push ourselves to continue to try new things and explore, try different rigs, see the positivity that you can see from trying different ones and the challenges that they bring, and continue to push our animation. Going to be a little bit of instruction, a little bit of theory, a little bit just animation chit chat throughout. And without further ado, let's get right in. So let's go ahead and create a good pose first. See what we got with the spine here. Up spine and down spine. Some rigs have 3 kind of spine controls and others only have 2, so we got to be careful of that. First of all, let's see. If we can't switch that to an FK spine. I like working in FK a little bit more. Let's see what we have here. There we go. That gives us a better spine there. Okay. Let's see. That's pelvis. That's torso, mid-torso, upper torso, and upper spine. So let's go ahead and let's just move all of those together as one unit. It's a very cool looking rig, that's for sure. Let's give it a nice kind of hunchback feel to it. One thing that I know I didn't do as much when I was first learning is to really, I think there's a lot of character you can get by having a lean forward in the head or a pull back in the head. Already more pulled back are usually going to be more proper or more fit, or it just gives a sense of more formalness to an upward, where a more of a slouch is kind of already gives your character a little more of a casual feel, or perhaps even, like, depending on how much you do, slight sickly feel or that kind of thing. And I think that gives a lot of character without too much work as well. And let's see, what do we got here for the foot? Let's go ahead and splay the feet a little bit. That's another tip that I would say definitely when you're setting up your first initial poses, you do want to give a little bit of splay to the feet so they're not pointing straight forward. You could also splay them in or out, but just something, because starting off with a stronger key pose is going to definitely help set up your animation right away. Let's go ahead. And then one thing with elbows, I usually try when there's, let's say that for this one we have 3 attributes in the elbow. You see the X, Y, and the Z. For elbows, I usually like to keep only key one of the attributes for the elbow, because usually if you're following regular human anatomy, your elbow really only bends in one direction. Any stuff beyond that is going to come either from the upper arm itself, the shoulder, or the wrist here. But the elbow itself usually, I mean, you can have like a slight give left and right and everything, but if you want something to feel a little bit more natural, usually only use one attribute for the elbow. But that's, it's up to taste, it's up to posing and all that stuff, but as a kind of a basic starting rule, I usually only use one attribute in there. Let's get into the hip here. Let's give a little bit of offset rotate from the chest. And now we want to, I think we'll rotate that a little bit more. And let's go ahead and pull it back a little bit. It's a little bit of back and forth between the hips and the chest, I feel. Go ahead and bring that foot forward a bit, and this foot back a bit. And let's splay it out a little bit more. Maybe not that big of steps, you gotta be careful. It's a really nice rig. Aesthetically pleasing, seems to work pretty well from everything that I've seen so far. Let's go ahead and drop the jaw here and rotate it. Maybe we could even give him an underbite. I was thinking of doing an open jaw for it, but I think an underbite's kind of fun for this character. Overbite's kind of nice too. Or that's an underbite. This would be an overbite. So I think we might do that. And we can just switch it up later. And we even get a little bit of animation on the hat too. It's kind of cool. Be nice to add a little bit more character there. Get into that more as it sets up later. And let's go ahead and to feel a little more natural. So let's do that. And normally I like to go and kind of set it up in the attribute editor so that way you can keep your X, your Y, and your Z a little more uniform, but sometimes you have to use the world rotate to get the exact kind of posing that you want here. And then let's see how these are set up. Here, fingers. Let's rotate those down. And maybe I'll give him like a kind of a slight punch there. we can swing this arm out a little bit more. And rotate that head a little bit more so it's forward and a little bit. These feet are funny. I don't know why, but they make me laugh. And then with that being said, let's go ahead and raise that shoulder up. And then we're going to bring this arm in a little bit more. And we're going to want to switch this hand up a little bit more as well. We gotta keep in mind our silhouette. So right now, everything's working except for this hand. I want to get it out from behind the head. So let's go ahead and make sure we're grabbing that arm. And we want to rotate it back a little bit. That's fine. Another thing we might do is just pull the head up a little bit more. That might help repose. Let's see if we got a decent line of action throughout the body. This feels pretty good. And let's go ahead and pull that up a little bit more over. And let's go ahead and start from there. Alright, so before we go too much further, let's go ahead and file save our scene as, and we'll call this Hotel Zombie. Wait for it to load here and save. And again, if you are liking this series and you think more people should see it, or you want to share it with friends, definitely do so. Go ahead and throw me some thumbs up or subscribe to the channel, and you can always share these videos. And if you have any comments, questions, thoughts, concerns, critiques, any of that kind of stuff, definitely don't hesitate to comment down below and let me know what you think. And is it gonna take forever? There we go. Hotel Zombie Walk. And we'll just go ahead and save that. Continue. And alright, now let's go ahead and get started. We'll go to frame 1, select all of our controllers, and we're gonna go ahead and set a key there. And now let's start laying the foundation for our walk here. So let's go keep this pretty universal with our normal speed. So we'll do it on 12s. And we're just going to lay the foundation of our walk down here. And one thing we're going to want to consider is the distance between the feet. So perhaps on that one we could pull it. Be careful about that. We'll pull that foot back a little bit more. Just so that the distances between the steps and the feet are a little more universal and blend, so it doesn't feel like one of the steps is really a lot bigger than the other. It doesn't have to be completely uniform, but we do want to keep it in a semblance of, we don't want like a big step and a little step, at least for this walk. Some walks you might want to do that, but for this one I think we want to keep it pretty much just try and develop the character by the way that it walks rather than the way that the steps are. Okay, let's go in here, window, animation editors, graph editor, grab that there, and our translate X, translate Z, alright. They rigged this the way that I like it, with it being translate Z that's left and right instead of X, which is fine, but I tend to find Z to be the way that I'm used to having my translation moves, and we just even that out so it's more of an even movement throughout the hips. And let's go ahead and watch that. Now this step here feels a little bit too far on that foot down there. So let's go ahead and pull that back here. So we're going to go in our graph editor here, and we're just going to scale that back a little bit more. Just it felt too far forward on that step. And now this one feels a little too far forward. So I'll go ahead and we'll pull that back just a little bit. And this one. Which means we're going to have to pull these hips back just a little bit, because as you can see right now, they're a little bit further forward than I'd like for balance, which is fine if we were continuing the walk, but since we're just doing 48 frames, we want to kind of make sure that last frame feels balanced as well. So let's see. Let's go ahead and push the hips forward a little bit more there. So let's go ahead and see that. Maybe nudge them forward just a little bit. Okay, it's feeling all right now. So we'll just Control S, save that info, and now let's go ahead and add the ups on our steps here. So we want to make sure we have 1 and 12 keyed, and we'll go in at 6, which is, make sure we grab just the one controller we need, not everything. Raise that up, and plant it down, and raise that up, and then plant it down. And then we'll go into this one, 12 and 24. We're just rekeying those just in case for some reason we didn't key the attributes right. Set it there, and we'll raise that up and plant it down. And let's go ahead and kind of balance out the up and down between the two steps so that there's not too much variation in the height of the steps. Strange, for some reason in this rig, one foot shows the raise up as a positive value and the other one shows it as a negative. That's kind of different. I don't think I've encountered that on a rig, which is fine. We can definitely work with that. It's not really a big hindrance. That's just a little different. So let's go ahead and see that. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of up and down. So I'll add a little bit of weight to the walk by doing a bit of up and down there. And let's go in and kind of even those out a little bit more. It's a very cool rig. I like this rig a lot. It's well made. It's running pretty light. It's got a lot of different manipulators so that we can animate it really well. Now, should we go that way, or should we go with up on the passing position? I think I like that better. The other one's just a little too much character for me, and I don't know that I want that. So this feels a little more like it's holding true to the original feel that we were going for. So we'll go ahead and do a little bit higher, raise up, and a little bit lower on the down, because I still want to feel that a little bit more than we're having. Alright, so let's go ahead and save what we have here. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of sway to those steps. So since this is the planted foot, we want to swing the hips over to the planted foot and vice versa. And then back again. And let's go into our translate X's. And let's go ahead and we'll just reduce that a little bit and even it out a little more. Okay, let's go ahead and go in there. Now let's go ahead and add a little bit of rotate. So we'll do some rotate Z so it swings over and over. And again, since we added that kind of sway and hunch throughout, we're never going to truly straighten that out a little bit because we want to keep that feel to it. But we are going to play with it a little bit. So I'll definitely favor one side versus the other for this one. But we can still add a little bit And why we're seeing that little bit of hiccup is just because we're moving between the two. And then let's go ahead and add a little bit of rotate Y so it favors that front planted foot. And rotate Y so it favors on that side. This is probably going to be too much rotate Y, but we can always pull it back. Don't be afraid to go too far and then pull stuff back so that you make sure that you can get that feeling then, and then pull it back until it's at a subtle spot that you want, while still having that feeling. Okay, let's go ahead and watch that now. Feels like that's working pretty well so far. Okay, so let's go ahead and save our file again, and let's get into these the chest here so we can kind of offset with what movement we have going on here. So we'll squash it down there, and over there a little bit, and over there a little bit, and then back again. Let's go ahead and offset. So this will give a little bit of twist in our abdomen here. Since our hips are favoring the front planted foot, we want our chest to favor the opposite hand there. And that will give us a little bit of twist in there, which will help. Let's go and watch that now. Okay, now we're going to want to even out that movement because we've got some definite variations and stuff going on. So let's grab all the rotate Ys here. And again, this chest is going to be a little bit different than a lot of other rigs because it has 5 or 4? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 controllers for the chest rather than most rigs usually only have 3, at least the ones that I've been using. And it depends on it. Sometimes with like a tail and stuff they're going to be a lot more, but for just a regular kind of humanoid usually only have 3, but that's okay. I think I'm going to reverse my rotate Ys though. I mean, Z, sorry. About that. We're going to exaggerate those a little bit more so we get a little more side-to-side squash and stretch. Be a little too much, so let's go ahead and scale that back a little bit. Let's do a little bit of squash and stretch and compression on the chest versus the hips as well, so that'll give us a little bit of compression throughout. So we'll do that with rotate X. We'll pull it back and then push it forward. When we pull it back, that'll kind of stretch it out and then squash it back. Let's get into our rotate X's here. And this will just add a little bit of compression throughout like the tummy and the chest area, which will help give us a sense more that that's a little bit more of a fleshy area by adding more movement to it. rather than a bony area. And that's what it looks like without doing any on the chest, but then we want to get some in there. So let's go ahead, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, we're just going to go ahead and compress that down a little more, and pull it back, and compress that down a little more, pull it back, down a little more, pull it back, down a little more, and pull it back. And that's too much, so we're definitely going to scale that, but that feeling I think will work. So let's grab just all our rotate X values, and let's first even them out. Come on. For some reason it's showing up with the Z2, but that's okay. You can just avoid that. Let's go ahead and see how that turned out. The feet feel a little too flat, so let's go ahead and let's throw a little more life into those feet right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the foot back in X. And let's see. A foot roll. What about a ball roll? Ball break? Nope. Ball slide? Oh, that's kind of cool. Ball twist? No. There isn't a... Oh, you know what? I think there's an actual controller for this one. No, that's not right. Whoa. Looks like we keyed a bunch of stuff we didn't mean to there, so let's go back. Let's step back a couple of frames. Okay, rotate that back, and rotate it back. And then we'll figure out kind of usually they have like a toe tap or something so we can drag the toe a little bit more. So I hope we can find something like that so we can get that there. Now what about this? It's the ankle. Maybe we'll just do it with the foot roll. Just have to be careful sometimes with foot rolls that you get a lot of funkiness in the knees because you're getting that, so let's be careful about that. And let's take what we have there, set that, and maybe we'll add a little bit of foot roll here too so it can start raising off. Let's rip that out there. Here and down. Let's see how that plays out. We got to be careful with this character because it's got some there really isn't any toe break though. That's really strange to me. They would have a rig like this without a toe ball break. See? I think that's maybe what it is. of something else to do with that. Let's have it just be on one frame. So we got rotating back and then kind of just clicks down. Might be too much. Maybe we still need it on 2 frames. I feel like this second step is more successful than the first. We just need a little bit of foot roll here. Let's see. Okay. It's working all right. Not exactly what I wanted, but it's working okay. Zero out there. Set our key here. And then get a little bit of foot roll up so that there's a little bit of toe tap. So we get some sort of kind of change of shape in there. But since we don't have like a toe break, it's kind of hard to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and watch that now. A little too much rotate Y in here now, so let's go ahead and scale that back a little bit. Let's see. And then we want to scale the rotate Y back in the chest as well, not only in the hips. So let's grab all the rotate Ys. And we're just going to scale those down a little bit more. A little bit under 2. Not a lot, but a little bit. Let's go try it. Do you feel like we could push the hips a little bit more forward? Just a little bit. It's just these middle steps feel like that hip's too far back. Let's see. That feels better. Maybe what we could do as well is take the translate Ys, and let's go ahead and delay them maybe 1 frame or 2 to make the steps feel a little bit heavier. Let's watch it from this angle. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this torso here. Let's just do the pelvis here. And we're going to rotate Y on the pelvis there and back there. We'll just delay this a frame. That'll loosen that pelvis up a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit of rotate Z here, and Z here. Make sure we're doing that right though. Let's do a little bit of rotate X as well. And let's go in and clean up all that stuff now that we did that. So we got the rotate Ys. Favor one side too much on this. We can do that on the chest a little bit since we have that, but I don't need to do that in the pelvis or the booty or whatever we want to call this controller. And rotate X. Swing on these arms. I was debating whether we should swing them back and forth, or if we should do a little bit of let's do back and forth instead. You know what? I think that's the right way to go with this. So we'll do a rotate Z, rotate Z, rotate B, rotate Z, rotate Z. Let's do those on the 6s instead of on 12s. Gotta readjust that hand though, it feels. Let's just get the arms working before I get into the hands real quick. 2 frames. Starting to feel a little better. I was hoping we could do that with just using one controller, but looks like we're going to have to use 2. That's okay. Okay, let's go ahead and watch that now. Let's see if those hands sway in the way that I want them to. That's better. And I might be going against what I was saying earlier because I think we're going to want to switch the sway to be something akin to this. Let's see. No, that's no good. I'll just keep it with the X thing. It's up. So there's a little bit of bounce. And oops, that's 32. And we're gonna have to do what I was saying don't do before, but that's okay. Sometimes you gotta break the rules to get the. We're gonna move the elbow in 2 separate ways instead of 1. That's okay. I'll just teach you that breaking the rules is okay sometimes. It's funny that I was talking about that earlier, and now I'm doing the exact opposite of what I was saying you should do. Funny? Is that the word? Funny. I think that's a word. I mean, funny is a word. I'm not debating if funny is a word or not, but rather if that's the correct way to use it. That's what I'm watching there. It's feeling pretty good though. Let's go ahead and save it. Control S, and let's go ahead and get into that other arm there. Gotta fix up those hands. Those hands are kind of funky on this rig. I wish they were bigger. Not necessarily like... I mean, I can get the boniness of them, but they just feel too much like there's too... Same thing with feet. I feel like the feet could be bigger as well. I do like this rig overall. I think it's a really fun rig. Very aesthetically pleasing rig. Yeah, we're just gonna clean it up. Just in our craft editor a little bit more. Okay, I feel like there's way too much movement on that arm, so let's go ahead and just scale everything back a little bit more. Just don't need that much. I don't mind the other arm swinging a bunch, but this arm is, should keep it more subtle. I also think we need to adjust this guy a little bit more. And just shrink up the movement a little bit more from the arm itself before getting into the forearm. Let's try that. Okay, those positions are too far up, so let's go ahead and pull them back, scale them back a little bit. And now let's go ahead and get into the hands a bit. And we'll have to delay these so that the upper arm will lead and lower arm will follow and the rest will be behind that. So. A little more rotate X's and call for here. Just not feeling that there's a nice sway here. And we'll just do more of a bounce then. Let's see. Okay. That'll work, but it's way too much right now, so let's go ahead and fix it up. reason it's not. It's not. Let's just watch it from the perspective that we're going to be using it and see if it's working or not. Let's go ahead and we need to get a little more of a side view of this wrist rather than straight on. So let's go ahead and a little more rotate X into that wrist. Shoulder and less from the hand itself. So let's see. Now let's go ahead and grab this, and let's delay in the frame. And this one, and delay the frame. Let's go ahead and watch that now. I feel like we should do more of this kind of a perspective for the walk, just so that we can get more of that feel through it. So we lose a little from just going from a side view. Yeah, let's do this angle for it. Let's turn our nerve curves off just so we can see this play a little bit better. Sometimes that's a little distracting. Okay, let's go ahead and save our work here. And let's get into doing a little bit of head animation. positions on the feet and give them one more frame. Push them one more frame back. Let's take hand and arm. Let's delay the frame. And the hand. Let's delay that a frame as well. Let's take everything on this arm and let's delay it one more frame as well. Let's see. Now I'm just going to take everything and scale it back a little bit more. Let's see. You know what? Let's change up the idea. I just don't like this arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just delete it. Not delete the whole arm, but delete that idea. I'm just going to hold it back. I just don't feel like it's a strong enough idea for this walk. Just give it a little bit of a sway to it. Oh, something's hitching with it. What's that all about? What do we got here? What did we delete? Okay. Keep it simple. If that idea wasn't working, then let's get an idea that does. I'll just add a little bit of sway to it. That way there's some variation between the arms as well. way too much movement, but I think the idea will work. I think it's a better idea than the other one that we were just trying to force to work right. Let's go ahead and get into this arm. Otherwise it just felt like it was hitting and not really swinging, so it's good. This arm just is not working. Why is that? Okay. Let's go in one more time and we'll give another approach to it. We tried. Let's go ahead and just zero everything out. See if we can't get something. Just try and get something that works. Let's see. When in doubt, zero out. Gonna be a little bit of a longer video just since I can't seem to get this arm to do what I want it to. That's okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and set it at 1. Make sure we got no other keys on it, and let's just leave it. There's just something that was jerky about it. maybe we'll do something like that where it just is holding back. See, there's something that's jerking right through there. Is it on the shoulder? Okay, let's just do a little swing here. It feels fine. Just keep it real simple. Little bit here. I'm just going to keep it as simple as can be, so just so that we get something that's working. And it'll help our silhouette, I think, too, by having that arm stick out a little bit more. It's a little too much, so let's go ahead and scale it back a little bit. I want it to feel stiff, but still like there's some movement in it. Let's go down to 0. We just need one more frame here. Okay, let's go. It does feel like there's some sort of hesitation there in that arm, though. Now I feel like we need to scale this one back a little bit more. Just because it feels like it's too busy now that we got that other arm there. Scale back that forearm, and let's watch that again. have some stiffness to it. It's a little better. Let's loosen up this hand a little bit more. Let's exaggerate this guy a little bit more, and then we're going to add some loose fingers on this, and that should help that as well. Let's go ahead and grab these two. Let's delay them a frame here. Let's delay that one a frame as well. Let's rotate X back a little bit here. A little bit more. A little bit more even. Let's see. Let's delay that hand one more frame as well. Let's go ahead and save our file here. I feel like that's working okay. Let's get a way better hand pose here. First of all, let's take what we have and let's pull it back a little bit more, and let's get a good kind of a clawish looking gnarly hand here. Like really bent up and deformed. Broken hand there. I like how you can really get in and tweak these fingers though. I do like that. It's really nice on this rig. It's pretty gnarled up hand there. Maybe we can make it a little better. Really nice gnarled up hand pose there. Okay, let's go ahead and save what we have here. Now let's add some swing into those fingers here. Let's do this. Let's grab all of the fingers here. And let's rotate Z. And give us 12 frames, which would be 21. do is grab just the mid and tips from these. And delay those a frame. That way there'll be a little bit of successive movement throughout. And delay just the tips a frame. And then grab the index finger and move that forward a frame. And grab the pinky, and we're going to delay that a frame as well. And that should add some variation to it. Let's do one more frame delay on that. Let's go into the index again. We're going to just exaggerate a couple of those here. Just to add some change of shape and separation in the hand. Let's go ahead and save off what we have, and let's do a little bit of animation on the thumb here. Let's see. Draw 6, and then 12 should be 20, and 32, and 44. And I think we want to exaggerate this base of the thumb a little bit more. And then we want to delay that tip by 2 frames. Let's see. Starting to come together. Okay, let's go ahead and save what we have here. Let's do a little bit of sway in this hand here. And a gnarled up hand. Just a little bit. Remember, this hand's going to be a little more subtle than the other one, so we don't need to worry about doing too much here. But we still want to do some. 9, and 21, and 33, 45, 48. Let's go and scale that back a little bit. Don't need as much as we have. Let's see. Let's scale it back a little bit more. There we go. And then let's grab the tips and the mids of the fingers those a frame. Let's grab all the tips. Let's delete those frame. Okay, let's go see that now. And let's go ahead and lead with the index finger. By 2 frames, 1, 2, and then delay the pinky by 2 frames. 2. Okay, let's see. Then let's do a little bit of rotate Z in the thumb. It's probably too much, so we'll scale it back. Okay, let's go and watch that now. I think there's just a little bit of keep alive on that one. Let's do a little bit of rotate X, I think, just so the hand has some kind of change of shape and it's not just a flat palm on there. So let's go and see that. Alright, go to save what we have again. Let's do a little bit more. Maybe we could do a little bit of rotate on the head. A little bit of bounce on there. Can do something to keep that head alive. That's not really working. So let's go ahead and just do it. Same speed that we have the neck on, just so. Let's go here and let's add a little bit of rotate Y, just so there's a little bit of variation there. Okay, let's get rid of that rotate X. I just don't like it enough to keep it. So let's see. So let's scale down that rotate Y that we put in. And let's delay it a couple of frames. Let's see. Play down the movement we did on the neck. Let's see. What? Let's tone down what we did on the neck there. Come on. Oh, okay. And let's just tone down what we had there on that neck here. that's better. And let's add a little more rotate Y to it. Increase that just so there's a little more turn from side to side. Maybe a little less. And then maybe we could overlap with a little bit in the jaw here. So there's a little bit of sway in the jaw. Let's delete that 2 frames. Let's see. And we could really exaggerate that 2-way feel. I think that might work well for us, so let's try it. We have to worry about some intersection through the jaw here. So that's fine. This we may have to rotate it down in X, no? Maybe we just need to scale it back, I guess. Guess we can't do as much there. Just tone it down altogether. Still a feel of the sway to the jaw. I was thinking there would be like more of a couple more mouth controllers here, but that's okay. Just gotta be careful because they're getting that. Maybe it has to do with our. Just have to mix that idea or deal with that. It kind of bleeds through a little bit. The teeth to the jaw. Just have to deal with it. Let's see if we can get a little hat animation here. Do something that we can A little bit of wobble maybe. Let's see. A little bit of warble in the hat might help. Let's see. Just something to keep that hat alive on the top of his head. Let's tone it down. I think that'll work. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Have anything else that I can do with the brow? Doesn't seem like it. Oh well. Okay, let's turn off our nerve curves and let's go ahead and watch this thing a couple times. Still wish there was kind of a toe controller so you could do a better toe break. But I think that works alright for now. Maybe we could tone down that wrist a little bit more. It does feel like it's a little bit too much. Doesn't need to be as exaggerating. Let's see. Let's turn our curves off. Let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and zero this thing out again. Yeah, there's just something that's coming through in that mouth. So we just gotta make sure that we're here. Because it's not even really up there when you zoom in on it. It's just when you zoom out a little bit. Oh well. We'll just deal with it. It's just a limitation of the rig, I guess. And let's turn off our grid here. And let's go ahead and play blast this thing. Let's try and watch it at speed and see if it's sick, because we're getting a little bit of hiccups there. I think that works pretty well. A couple of things I'd love to get in there and really tweak and polish out, but I think overall that worked out pretty well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, remember to throw me some thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, if you found stuff helpful, if you think there's more stuff we should cover and everything in there. And then just a little recap from earlier when we first started out, which seems like forever ago. I think this one took a little bit longer than usual. So when you're animating, remember to try and find a hook for your character. Like in this one, we gave him more of a stiffer back arm. We gave him really a swingy wrist on that other one, and like a kind of loose jaw with it jutting out. And then observe, and then plus reality when you're animating. Alright, I think that'll do it for this extra long version today. I think this one went a lot longer than the last few have gone, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Keep on animating, keep on being inspired, keep on imagining, keep on creating, and we'll see you tomorrow.